What's up, everybody, at sportsrecall.com. Today we are here with rock and roll legend James Kottak from the band Scorpions. For those of you that don't know, Scorpions has sold more than 100 million albums worldwide. Now, they were supposed to be on a farewell tour about 5 years ago, but overwhelming response from the fans has them back out on tour, out with a new album, and with a documentary releasing called Return to Forever. We're going to go inside and talk to James and find out what happens when sports meets rock and roll. Let's check it out. Welcome back to Sports Recall, everybody. We are finally inside with the man for today, James Kottak. James,
hey,
thanks for taking time out
Thank
of your
you.
schedule.
Good to see you, man.
All right. Now, I told you guys we were excited about this, and we got a lot to cover because you've done a lot and are still doing a lot, got a lot coming up. You've been playing in the Scorpions. You've been playing in other bands. You were with Warrant. You were back with Kingdom Come. But we're going to take it all the way back. Back to, when you were a kid growing up. Where did you grow up?
From Louisville, Kentucky. Funny you would ask. Home of fast women and beautiful horses. And, like every kid, I grew up playing sports. But then when I was like 9, I saw this dude drumming. It was really weird. It was like they had a band like at the equivalent of Walmart. Made no sense. And I watched this guy up close and said, man, that's what I want to do. So I got some drums, started playing, started rehearsing. And next thing you know, here we are.
Okay, you said this was about when you were 9 years old. I mean, this wasn't something you saw on TV. This wasn't some world-famous rock star. This was just a dude down at the local Walmart, and you said, that's going to be me.
Exactly. I remember his name was Roy. Go figure. And he was like, going, man, yeah, let me show you this. And that was it. And then I went home and said, man, I got to mow about 50,000 more lawns and buy some drums.
Well, Roy from Kentucky, who knew that you'd have such an influence on a young 9-year-old?
Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm thrilled to death.
Now, was anybody else in your family involved in music, or were you the first one to kind of go down that path?
Well, actually, my father played like the Hammond B3, in the lounge when you go, and it has the rhythm machine and the pedals and all that. So he was always playing the organ. He'd be down in the basement playing it, and he'd play on weekends and stuff like that. But he was an insurance salesman.
Now, like you said, like a lot of other kids in Kentucky, I've actually been in Kentucky for a couple years. You're right, sports are big, and it's just something you do as a part of growing up. What sports did you play growing up?
Of course, I have basketball, and I was the tallest at the time, so I was center, which was cool. And of course, baseball, and I pitched. That's what you did from I was 9 till I was 15. Played baseball, and of course I thought I was going to grow up and be the pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds.
So, when did you decide that, it's time for me to put up these cleats and just really hang on to these drumsticks because maybe I got more of a future in music than with the Cincinnati Reds?
Well, it's funny. I played trumpet in the high school band, and it just come springtime when baseball would start, there was conflicting days, like when I got to be about 12, 13, 14 around then. So I'd go, oh my God, am I going to play in the concert or am I going to go play the game? And of course, band director and coach, they're the same kind of a dude. And they're like going, you got to make up your mind. And so I'd miss one or the other, but I always was gravitated towards the music. So I played baseball up until I was like 14 and a half, 15. But, sometime at one point I just made that jump and said, I got to do this full time. But I had basketball, go home and still played and goofed off and, that kind of stuff. So.
Got it. Well, obviously you made the right decision. I mean, Scorpions has been going strong for I don't know how long. How many years have you been a part of it?
I joined in 1995. I did a little recording with them, and then 96 was my first tour. So in terms of rock and roll, that's an eternity. It was 18, 19 years now. And I'm just fortunate to, work with a bunch of really good guys. And plus I knew them before when Rick and myself were in Kingdom Come in 1988. Our album came out, and we did really well. Sold a couple million overnight. We were asked on the Monsters of Rock tour, and that was Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken, Metallica, and us. And that's how long Metallica was down here. But Scorpions were there, and we hung out it was like a 3-month tour and got to know each other, and we were on the same label. It was just a boatload of fun. And so we were already friends. And then a few years later, I did an album with Michael Schenker, Rudolph's brother. And, rock and roll is very incestual, and everybody kind of plays with everybody, and it's a very small community. So,
got it. Well, you're talking about, at least what I'm hearing, being a rock band, being on a pro sports team. I feel like there are a lot of similarities. The world of sports, the world of rock, a lot of intersections there. What would you say, just from, the traveling you've done, the fans, all the albums you've sold, are the similarities that you see between rock and between sports?
Think about it. There's 5 guys out on the court at any given time. There's 5 guys in a band. And with my personality, I'm really good at working in a group. And that has always been my structure for my entire life, whether it's 4 guys or 5 guys. And, and you depend on each other big time, and even when you're off the court or, you're not thinking, we're having dinner and you got a problem. I have my home family and then I have my rock and roll family. And I've been fortunate to have some really good rock and roll families like Rick and a few bands, but Scorpions trumps them all. And, but it is so similar, we have a manager who's just like the coach, and it's amazing, and plus, believe it or not, we actually do have to stay in shape.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute, but kind of continuing on this sports and rock thing, there have been so many athletes that have wanted to pick up a microphone and sing. They wanted to rap. They wanted to pick up a guitar. And let's just say that the results have not been that great. You knew when to hang up your baseball cleats. Why do you think so many athletes just are trying to make records?
The first name that comes to mind, of course, Shaq is the first notable guy that I knew, and I have to bring it up, but geez, you kind of want to go, what were you thinking? I know it was just fun. It was a fantasy thing, but you're not going to see me out running up and down the court with any of those guys. First of all, I'm not very tall, and also they're incredible. So also when you look at a rapper like a Jay-Z or what, those guys are phenomenal. I can't do that. I do rock and roll, so I know there's a lot of guys that did it, and I'm not putting it down. Do whatever you want. Use your own money.
There you go. Well, listen, talking about athletes, you talking about having to be in shape playing the drums, and the drummer kind of, it's something that you have to have stamina to do. Not everybody realizes how hard it is to get through those solos. You're keeping time. You're the one directing the band. What do you do to keep in shape so that you can be confident that when it's showtime, you're ready to go?
Well, here recently, a few years ago, I started riding my bicycle, but I crashed a couple of times, so I kind of put that on the back burner. And then actually this last summer, I actually got a personal trainer again. And, I go in there and he kicks my ass because otherwise I won't go. If I'm paying for it, I'll go to the gym. And so I've done tons of sessions with this guy, and he's just great. And, just kind of do regular stuff, treadmill and stuff at the hotel when we're on the road. And when I'm home, just staying active.
What music do you like to listen to get you through your workouts? What pumps up James Kottak?
Honestly, I don't have these earphone things, and generally they have it on some station that just plays this sugar-coated pop. But it's refreshing to hear because it's the only time I listen to it, so I just get on there and doing my thing. And it's like, well, not Britney, but what's her name? All About the Bass. What's that chick?
Oh, right. But something where you can just tune out for an hour or so.
Yeah, exactly, because I get distracted. But, when I'm in the car, I'm listening to country or talk radio because I love talk radio.
We know you're all about music. You're all about rock and roll. What outside of music are you passionate about?
I love to cook. I wouldn't say I'm a chef, but I like to hang out in the kitchen, do the whole thing, get a killer recipe, and just go nuts. That's fun. And like I said, I've also got 3 kids, which has kept me really busy for the last 24 years. And it's, that occupies a lot of time. And also when I'm home, I try to devote my home time to whatever's going on with them and, focusing on that and not just, well, what do I want to do now? Am I going to go fishing? I went through a lot of years of when I went fishing a lot.
I see.